Hey there, look at that. Your training from before. Remember? That's right. We're going back to that song again. And now, oh shoot, but I forgot what happened in the last time when I was singing this song. Well, anyway, let's just assume you've gotten some badges now. You're in the league. You're fighting on your way through. You find a 10-year-old boy. You whoop his ass because he doesn't know what to do. It's the Poke Bears show.
Oh, okay. Hello, Nick.
Hi, Forrest. I just ended that Saga theme song.
Okay.
You said I wouldn't remember it, but I did remember it.
I didn't.
And now you don't
I
remember
take it
that.
back.
Yeah, you do.
I take it back.
Suck on that.
So you ready to get down and dirty?
I'm ready to talk about some episodes of the Pokemon anime. I don't want to have sex with you, Forrest.
That's not what I meant, but okay,
well,
great.
it's just you said down and dirty. I can only assume that.
Anyway,
episode 69 with Pi-Kahuna.
Yeah.
Put your pants back on, Forrest.
I can't help myself, Nick.
Um.
I think better when my pants are off.
Okay, that's fair. Oh. That was uncomfortable.
All right, this episode.
Yeah, this episode, 69. Ash's training.
Yeah, by
on the
just
Seafoam Islands.
training his
body,
not his Pokemon.
He's training.
He's training. He's
gotta,
jogging.
He's got to raise up that cardio so he could shout commands, you know?
Yeah, I don't...
If he could talk while jogging, he could shout commands over a flamethrower.
I think maybe Pikachu was also running. So maybe he was also training Pikachu?
Okay, but again, you're training the one Pokemon that it's training all the time then.
I know. It's on level freaking 100, man.
Evolve your Pidgeotto or your Squirtle, and then you'll be like, okay, that I've at least attempted to train.
He still only have 5 You know what? At least he is putting forth effort of some kind.
Grab a Tauros from your PC and be like, hey, who wants to help wrangle this Tauros? That's some good training right
That
there.
would be some good training. Actually, I would love to see an episode where he goes to battle a guy and he uses 6 Tauros to battle. Just to with the other person.
And the guy's like, oh my god, sir, this is worse than the Magikarp.
Alright, Ash, it's time to battle. Go Arcanine, go Tauros. I just killed a Tauros. Here's another Tauros. And another Tauros.
They all know Hyper Beam, bitch!
Actually, I believe Tauros was one of the better
Hyper Beam
ranked.
users,
Yeah. One of the better ranked Gen 1 Pokemon.
Because it was a strong-ass normal type.
Yep. And those things were what you wanted. Anyway, so this episode gets going with Ash running and they come to the beach. A car passes them.
It would fail its smog emissions
yes,
test.
It would. By God, it would. But while there's like smoke in the air, after it clears, he's suddenly gridlocked in like heavy traffic. It's like, what the f***? Where'd all these cars come from?
Like, it was nothing.
There was nothing, and
no
then
sound of a car, and all of a sudden, BAM!
He is surrounded.
It's Atlanta.
Yeah. For real, though. And Officer Jenny's like, this is really weird. You guys need to just, like, drive away. What the hell?
And then she does, and that's resolved really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Quicker than real-life traffic would be.
Absolutely, my God.
Like, Officer Jenny would, like, actually, like, arrest Ash for road endangerment.
Yeah.
And then
Delilah
would have
weird.
to bail him out of jail. And then Ash would, like, do some community service. And then he would miss the Pokemon League because it clashes with his Pokemon Court date. And, Ash would forever miss out on Pokemon training. He would have to settle for being a janitor because he got because of that running in the middle of the street. But that's not what this show's about. No, this show doesn't have realism.
No. I mean, to be fair, this is a show where an electric mouse shocks to death a giant rock snake.
There still needs to be accountability.
That is true. So Officer Jenny takes the trio aside and tells them the story. For some reason,
Gives them
she
the
tells
exposition.
them, the story of Jan and the giant Humunga Dunga wave.
Humunga Dunga.
Humunga Dunga.
And how, like, 40 years ago, Jan...
Who was a man.
Jan the man, rode this 50-foot tall tidal wave and planted a flag on top of a rock. I don't know what that rock's made out of to make flag planting so easily.
Yeah, but also like the the flags don't fall out in a regular rainstorm.
No,
Like it's still there 40 years later in pristine
this
condition.
only supports humans are super powered in this universe.
For real.
They have endurance and super strength.
That's fair. That's fair.
And also it explains how like no one has mentioned that surfers die attempting to plant their own flag.
Right? Like you would think that at least one would just time out that wave.
They're going head first into a rock and they're not high enough to plant the flag on top of the rock? Oh, yeah, they're fine. Physics. I love that the giant wave is called the Humunga Dunga, because that makes it sound like enormous poop. That's what I was thinking every time they said Humunga Dunga, enormous poop. Maybe there's like a giant whale lord or that giant dragonite from earlier, and they like took a poop while flying, and then the poop flopped down, and then created a giant tidal wave.
I'm visualizing the poop.
And it takes like 20 years in order to make all that poop, in order to make a wave that big. Yeah, that's what it is. That's why it's called that.
Dunga. It really is called the Humunga Dunga. Like, we're not making this up.
No.
That's what they call it in the episode, the Humunga Dunga.
Ash starts to go surfing, and Misty and Brock give him shit for going surfing and not training.
Even though that's all he's done is not train ever since he got his 8th badge.
And if they're willing to call jogging training, then I'm sure that surfing's just
probably
as valid.
Fine. Yeah,
as
absolutely.
jogging is.
Besides, if he really has been training for at least a little while, as seems to be what is presented in this episode, let him have a break for like 10 minutes and go surfing. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Hell, he could bring a Squirtle out. And
he doesn't, but he could have.
He could have. That could have been some ample training.
Yeah.
And then we see Burt Roswell. What's his face? Burt Reynolds.
We see Burt Reynolds.
With his Alolan Pikachu?
It feels canonical, honestly, because it seems to have some kind of mystical psychic type powers.
It's got the same blue eyes as Alolan Raichu does.
Yeah.
And it surfs.
Yeah.
Just like Alolan Raichu.
Yeah, exactly.
And it came from the ocean.
Yeah, it did.
And what's closer to Japan? Hawaii.
So we got introduced to this character. Actually, his introduction is pretty cool because we see like his Pikachu's tail turn blue for a minute, and then he sees it, and he's like kind of in the shadows. He goes, "No,
not yet.
This is not the one." He has like that Burt Reynolds like deep voice. It's pretty great, actually. I really love that voice actor. Whoever he is, he was great in this entire episode.
A budget
Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So yeah, he ends up rescuing Ash when Ash gets some bullshit leg cramp or something.
His like foot cramps and he can't ride the surfboard,
and then he goes
the waves start getting big.
Then,
like he's drowning, and Misty and Brock are just standing there like, ah. And I'm like, man, if only someone had some water Pokemon that could go out there and swim to him.
Even one that like could serve as a platform that like is really stiff and like can just swim and move telekinetically.
Yeah, like all you would need is just one water Pokemon. Oh, the travesty.
Hell, you wouldn't even need its evolution that you left out of gym for some bullshit reason.
F***ing A. So this guy, his name is Victor. He saves Ash, and they take him up to his little cottage. He starts telling like his life tale for some reason. I'm not sure if anything prompted it. I think Ash is just like wanting to get out of training for the rest of the day.
Misty was straight up, so Victor, why don't you tell us about yourself? And Victor was like, okay. And then, no, that didn't happen. Victor just tells his life story to everyone.
Volunteered the information, yeah. Well, he does have a bunch of photographs on his wall, and they're like asking about the photographs.
Ah, that's what it is.
Yeah. Young, like, oh yeah, look at you! You got all this stuff on his wall. He also has a swordfish on his wall, by the way. Like
what the fuck is a swordfish?
Yeah, like what the is a swordfish? He just has.
Is that like a Tapu Fini with only its shell? Oh my god, that's up, man.
It's pretty horrifying. Yeah.
I just want to point out, for animating purposes, young Victor's ponytail is ridiculously voluminous.
It is.
It is so fucking luscious. Like
it's pretty amazing.
He's got the hair of a god.
He really does. But only from behind. In the front, his hair just does like the regular, like down to his chin type thing.
Yeah, but that ponytail.
But it's pretty. It's an amazing ass ponytail. So his whole story. He starts talking, and I guess just this is a good time to talk about it. I thought the animation in this episode was like really beautiful.
Yeah, no, this was some spot on animation.
Especially considering that a lot of times I guess a lot of it was just for budget reasons, but they just did like the still frame animation that we've seen in other episodes. But especially like much older ones like the School of Hard Knocks, where they would just like have, and they would have the story being told, but it would be just like one still frame of animation.
Oh, Hard Knocks was terrible.
Hard Knocks was terrible about that, but
like the screen didn't even fit in Hard Knocks.
Yeah, like it was awful. But
let's not talk about Hard Knocks in this way better episode.
Yeah, because in this one they actually went out of their way to look each individual frame look beautiful,
and they animated like each backstory. They could have just told it in that series of stills,
but they went out of their way to make it look good. So essentially, young Victor met Jan. I guess when he was like 6 or 7 or something, and he saw Jan like, boom, put the flag in the rock, and it was like epic. It changed his life. And Jan came up to him and was like, "Hey man, you can do it too," and then gave him his surfboard.
And he was like, yeah!
Yeah! And then 20 years later, he's been training all this time. 20 years later...
And he fails.
Pretty interesting, actually, that he failed. Like, the people who made the story could have just made it like, this is the 20 years. Yeah. But they actually put in the extra step of, he's already failed at this once.
You know what I'm noticing now that I think about it? Characters that... If the character of the day is like an older gentleman, like in his 40s or older, it's probably going to be a good episode. Because the only one that I could think of on the top of my head that featured an older guy was the Dratini episode.
Yeah, that's fair. Because they have a little bit more interesting backstory. I really don't care for backstory as character development in general, but for some reason Pokemon does a decent job of it. Mm-hmm. Like, for whatever reason, they're just good at making backstory interesting character development.
Oh, and by the way, for anyone wondering, the magician is not in his 40s. That Seymour, or whatever his name is.
No, his
Marvin the
Magician Magnificent?
Yeah. No, he could off. He's terrible. I'm strictly, like, they look like they're adults.
Yeah, like the older people. So he failed the first time. It's been about 20 years, so he's waiting for the wave. He knows it's coming
he failed the
soon.
first time, was going to quit, and then he met the little
That's
Pikachu.
right. Yeah, that's right.
He met Puka.
I love that they named it Puka, because a Puka is actually like a spirit, like animal.
Yeah,
animal
it
spirit.
is.
So
I completely forgot that.
Yeah, that was a really interesting name. I don't know if he did that on purpose, but...
Do you think that it's possible that Puka is the reincarnation of Jan?
It's possible, because we see at the end of his story with Jan rides away on a little boat.
On a boat to go pursue other waves.
And then the next in the next part of the flashback, we see presumably Alolan Pikachu riding toward him, like clinging to a piece of like wood. So it's possible that he hit a boat and, I don't know, maybe died and was reincarnated as a Pikachu to come help this guy. I mean, you never know. It's just possible.
And they have the same power.
They have the same power, and they never state it outright, so it's just fun to think about.
Yeah. Those kinds of Easter eggs. Those are good ones.
They suggest it.
This episode has Easter eggs.
It is. This is a smartly written episode.
Also, Team Rocket is in here, but...
Barely.
Yeah.
After he gets done, I think it actually happens right after he gets done telling the story. The two Pikachu are outside talking to each other, and then Team Rocket comes up with the Gyarados sub and grabs them both and tries to steal both of them, which, fair enough.
Yeah.
They want to steal it.
Oh, and they think that Giovanni will give them a raise because they have twice the Pikachu. Because Pikachu is a really valuable Pokemon that Giovanni explicitly is looking for. Mm-hmm. And not the fact that it's Ash's Pikachu that Team Rocket was wanting in the first place.
Well, I mean, one Pikachu and then another Pikachu.
Well, one super powerful Pikachu, apparently. And then one Pikachu that can tell when high waves are coming.
That could be useful for different things.
Yeah.
Outside of surfing.
Good.
I don't think so, actually.
Oh, okay.
I love that Ash almost, after they steal the Pikachu, Ash almost jumps off the cliff to go to
I didn't think about this! And Brock's like, no! Think about this!
They save his life. because he almost died.
And then they are able to do nothing. Like,
Yeah.
Team Rocket could feasibly get away with it.
I know, like, for real, though. They
weren't-
almost got away with it.
If it weren't for the Deus Ex Machina, that it happened to be Gyarados Egg-laying season,
Right?
and they happen to be close to shore on that time of the year. By the way, they went really deep in the
They
ocean.
did.
It was starting to get dark.
It-
They should have just stayed, like,
They could have just gone down like,
Mid.
and then gone straight.
on a
Podcast,
audio
I know they
podcast
can't see
thing.
what I just did.
The Forest's arm was on the surface of the water, went midway through the water, and then went straight again.
Which is what Team Rocket should have done,
Which,
but
yeah.
they don't think things through very well.
In terms of Forest's arm, they did on the surface, way down, and then on bottom, and then they meet Gyarados and die.
Well, they don't die, but the Gyarados...
They die in real world.
They
in
die
the
in the
world,
real world.
In the world where Ash is up because of that ticket he got when he was 10, Team Rocket dies. Because they were attacked by giant sea serpents that could shoot lasers.
They do. All the Gyarados, they keep shooting like little hyper beams at them for whatever reason. They go out of the Gyarados sub jumps out of the water. They get hit with a hyper beam, breaks it in half. Team Rocket's just like blasting off again.
Yeah, no, that was quick. And thank God, somehow it shouldn't have been that easy. Pikachu and Puka just break out of their container.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
I'd like
just
to
so
think that
happens.
it's actually still they can't break out of the glass because they couldn't before, so it just falls back in the ocean, and then they're just in there and
Aw.
they die because they drowned,
Oh God.
and that's the end of the
They
show.
slowly sink to the bottom, still alive but unable to escape.
Well, that's when Victor would come out and save them.
Yeah, there you go.
But that's what Victor basically does. But
He goes
with
out
them
and he
in
saves
the
them.
water, because Bulbasaur only cares about Ash's Pikachu when they're on the boat.
And then the big wave, the Humungadunga,
The Humungadunga!
comes, and Victor's like, this is my chance. And
Thank God I brought my surfboard out at this particular time.
with my flag, which I guess I just happen to have on me for whatever reason.
I keep it in my ass. It's great. 40 years. And I'll finally make use of it.
Anyway, so he rides the wave, and he puts his flag right next to Jan's, and it's pretty cool. Like, it's got a good ending, and
And meanwhile, Officer Jenny's like preventing everyone else from being on the beach.
Yeah.
Which is bullshit, because isn't everyone trying to ride the giant
yeah,
wave?
for real.
I guess not, though. I guess not. Oh, wait, there's one person we could assume was on the beach who's a dumbass because they left their umbrella and beat all over the shore, and then it gets washed away. Like, they show that for a second, and then we just, it's done. It's gone.
You know, it'd been really sad if the wave was too big and just goes over the rock entirely. He's like, no!
And then he tries to throw it because throwing force doesn't have enough force necessary to penetrate the rock. It just bounces off. He's like, no! 20 years later, he's trying as an old man, but he can't do it because he's too old. And so he just dies. He's crushed into the stone.
Oh, no. Oh, man.
Real world Pokemon.
Real world Pokemon. At the very end, he gives his surfboard to two other kids, and he's like, you guys can do it too.
He was clearly talking to one of those kids. The other kid was just off to the side and happened to be there. Because otherwise the kids would have broken it in half and been like, great, yeah, we both have half a surfboard.
And he'd been like, oh.
That's not how that works.
Damn it.
Okay. That surfboard was worth $500,000.
So what'd you think of this episode, Nick?
I gave it 3 Voltorbs.
I gave it 3.5.
Ooh.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. I was invested in this guy's character. Like, he had a very good voice actor. The animation was really good. They played different music in it, and the music was really killer.
They did.
Yeah, and the music was really good.
The only reason I didn't give it that extra half or that extra whole Voltorb, it is surfing Pikachu, and while that is technically canonical, it doesn't provide me with like information that I really like love.
No,
in those
yeah.
episodes.
I mean, this episode, I really enjoyed this episode, but honestly, like, if you took the individual Pokemon out of it and took Ash out of it completely, it almost would have been the same exact thing.
Like if it was an anthology.
Yeah. Like it was almost like it didn't even really have to be a Pokemon episode, really. It could have just been about some ghost like spirit that he has as a pet that tells him when a big wave comes, and
it
then
could have been a Disney. It could have been a Pixar
yeah.
short.
Could have been a Pixar short. Could have been all kinds of things.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they had this episode because I really enjoyed it. I thought they put a lot of effort in it. I thought it was good, well paced. I'm glad that Ash actually started his training in this episode. Otherwise, I would have been much more annoyed at it. But like, if you're gonna,
I'm not gonna call it training until he's actually training his Pokemon.
But I mean, if you're gonna do filler though, at least have him training so that way it's like, okay, this is just a detour in story because we don't want to have the audience watch him like grind his Pikachu for 20 minutes, you know? So I can get behind it a little bit.
No, here's how you do the training episodes though. You highlight each of Ash's Pokemon individually. So you have 5 training episodes.
Yeah, that would have been made a lot of sense actually.
And it would have been fantastic. Would have been phenomenal.
This could have been Squirtle's episode. The next one could have been Bulbasaur's episode. We could have had an episode with him trying to train Charizard, but Charizard just won't listen to him. And then at the end of the episode, he's like, f*** it.
And he comes up with like a method of to use Charizard, although it has to be like kind of backwards. That would be hilarious.
That would be
great.
Really funny, but yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And then the 6th episode could be like, oh, I should probably have 6 Pokemon. What should my 6 Pokemon be?
Muck, Krabby, or Tauros.
Yeah.
Pidgeotto.
Pidgeotto's the 5th one.
The Pidgeotto's the 5th one, and it loses. It can't train because it's too weak. It can break
Krabby
steel
Tauros!
cables, and he keeps on his team because he just likes it. It's pretty.
It's pretty. I like its hair.
I like its hair.
Feathers.
Ready?
Episode 70.
Episode
Make
70.
room for Gloom. 'Cause
Why?
My butt is too fancy for yours. So make room for me. I'm Gloom, and I will kill you if you make me angry. I'm Gloom.
It was weird.
I'm sorry. Oh, wait. This is what Gloom sounds like. Make room for Gloom. Because if you don't make room for me, I'll be sad.
All right, I'm just gonna talk over you. So this episode starts off in Pallet Town, or
You mean
of
Pallet?
Town of Pallet.
Palette.
Pallet. And it opens up like, I love the opening because
With the Dodrio.
it's the Dodrio. They're making like the cockadoodle do like a rooster, but the different heads have different
Parts of it.
have different sounds that they make. It's pretty funny.
Dodrio is the
good.
closest thing they had to a chicken at the time.
Yeah, I think it was. Ash, Misty, and Brock are hanging out in Ash's mom's place. Ash's mom is like, "Hey, go get his fertilizer or whatever," and Ash is like, "We're gonna
Hold on. We're skipping way a huge important detail.
Okay, what is the detail that I'm skipping?
Brock makes 1 egg at a time. And Ash needs his eggs sunny side down. Ash, just eat them sunny side up. It's the same thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's literally just flipping the egg.
Flip your own damn egg, Ash. Also, why are you only eating 1 egg? Who only eats 1 egg? A baby eats more than 1 egg.
When you go to a restaurant, you don't ask them to cut the steak in half. No. You cut the steak in half. Because they have standards. Brock has standards. He's your walk-in butler. He has to make you f***ing specific-ass food, Ash? No. No. You got the Charmander. That's all you're allowed to have from Brock. That's just my 2 cents on that.
It was just bothering the hell out of you, wasn't it?
It was.
I don't blame you. Ash and company are going along, just kind of walking down the road.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. One more thing to go along with your thing. Ash lies to his mom, saying that he needs to go up into the mountains to train. True. And Misty's like, "What? You didn't say anything about mountains." And Ash's like, "Shut the up, Misty. If we stay here, we're gonna do chores. And I'm going to be all tired from, like, physically exerting myself. Like training. But we got to go train instead. Because I'd rather go train than train." Because if surfing and jogging are training, then gardening is also training.
To be fair, his mom is like, can you go pick up 300 or 400 pounds of fertilizer for me? That is pretty f***ing absurd.
That's some good training, though.
That would be.
Like, if your Pokemon are able to lift 300 or 400 pounds of fertilizer, probably 400 would be slightly better, but even 300 is still impressive. Yeah, your Pokemon are pretty set for the Elite Four then.
Yeah.
So yeah, they go into the mountains.
They go into the mountains, so they get to this dome.
Xanadu!
And it's called Xanadu. I was like, does Charles Foster Kane live here? What the hell?
Yes.
Why would they call it Xanadu? And Brock's like, oh, looks like a greenhouse.
And Ash was like, yeah, I used to go here, but then they moved away or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, but they're still there, so it doesn't matter, Ash. You're lying. Shut up.
Brock is like, oh, look, and this is my favorite part of this episode. Brock is like, oh, look, there's a pretty girl in there, or whatever he says. And Ashley's like, where? And Misty's like, just turn right behind you. I'm over here. And Ash is like, Misty, please. We can only have one of us hallucinating at a time. Easily Ash's best ever diss.
When Ash doesn't give a is when he's at his funniest, because he said that completely felt like, Misty, stop hallucinating, okay? Okay? Thank you.
So they meet this girl. Her name is Florinda.
Yeah,
it's
terrible, Florinda.
Terrible name. She's like, oh, come on inside or whatever. I have a place. So they go inside. I actually don't remember what the conversation was that led them inside. They're just inside.
They meet a guy who I don't think they ever say his name.
No, they do
not.
not.
They do. They say it once.
They don't even really like the Florinda especially does not even like talk to this character at all. Throughout this episode, she never once speaks to this character. That's important to know for the end of this episode. But
like Ash and company are the intermediators between these two. And it's weird that they thought he had a flamethrower when they're clearly in a garden, in a botanist's area.
It was definitely like a
botanical garden.
It was either like an insect spray or like it's a
hose.
Yeah, just a hose.
A mister thing, yeah.
Yeah. So
he holds it weird though.
He does. So they go into his voice actor is really weird, but we'll get to him in a minute.
Yes, we will.
Yes, we will. So they go in. They go into the gardens. And she's like, yeah, we got all kinds of plants in here and
Grass
stuff.
Pokemon really like
Grass Pokemon really like it. So Ash sends out Bulbasaur.
Yeah, training time!
Go, Bulbasaur!
And
Sniff
Bulbasaur
the flowers.
And then Bulbasaur gets high on Pokénip.
Yeah, he really does.
And, like, high, yeah.
Yeah, just straight up high. Like, he's like...
I wonder if Pokénip would work on grass Pokemon.
I don't know.
Does Pokénip have the same... Is it a powder?
I don't think so. I think it's... They say it's much like catnip, so I'm guessing it's just like
Is catnip a powder?
No, it's just like a scented, like, leaf, essentially.
But, like, you grind up like a powder.
Like you can. Like you can do with tea or coffee.
Oh, that's true. Okay, yeah, you're right.
So, yeah, it's very smelly, and they like it.
And so, I'm reading my notes. I'm reading my notes. Oh, yeah, my next note was just that Florinda's dumb.
She is. She's like...
And her speech pattern's dumb, too.
It really is. The voice actress... I'm sure this voice actress is wonderful and other things and everything. I'm sure that's true, but she was not very good in this episode.
I'm a horrible trainer.
I'm terrible at everything. I trained the worst Gloom. I'm so bad. I'm just awful. I'm like...
My parents left me because I'm a terrible human.
Even the goth kids from South Park would be like, dude, shut the f*** up. Like, what the hell?
Stop having a pity party, man.
I know. That I really didn't like her character.
Like, I can't evolve my Gloom.
I'm so bad at training. No matter what I do, I can't evolve my Gloom. I'm like... And I was like, dude, does she really not know how to evolve the Gloom or whatever?
But Forrest. She
tried. For whatever reason, the guy delivers that line pretty much exactly like that.
Yeah.
She tried. And that just cracked us up. Like, because it was just like,
it just cut to him.
It just, yeah.
And he immediately says it after the cut.
She tried. Like,
she's tried.
It's just so, like, robotic and, like, Nicolas Cagey, you know?
Nicolas Cage would be like, she's tried! Okay!
That's all she's ever done!
and so they show, like, that she has, in fact, try to use a leaf stone.
Yeah, so she's not a fucking idiot. She knows how to evolve a Gloom. It just wasn't working.
You know, it's funny. I thought the leaf stone looked fake.
Yeah.
Like the rock was too big and the leaf was too not.
Just like taped on. Almost.
Yeah, the leaf looked taped on. It wasn't ingrained in the stone.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why it looks fakes. Faked.
It is fake.
Because it is fake.
Because Team Rocket just... No, we almost missed it. We almost forgot. Because they're like, oh, yeah, why isn't this leaf stone working? Professor Oak is like, oh, it's fake. And we're like, how the did he get there?
Have you been following us?
He's not established in this scene at all. Not in this episode. He has not appeared once, except to say, oh, this is fake. And then he's just there.
We didn't hear a door open. We didn't hear a teleportation.
He just popped out of nowhere. Like, even when you apparate in Harry Potter, you go, when you appear.
That was a good apparate sound.
Thank you.
And the gang just treats it like it's normal.
Yeah, I know. They're just like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he just always shows up in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, that's what he does.
He just does that. It's a thing he does.
He knows when you're right in your blocking doors. So, of course, he could just teleport. Like it's nothing.
Professor Oak is just God, I guess. He's like, yeah, this is fake. Fucking how did he get there?
I've been investigating reports of fake stones being sold lately. And, hey, can you tell us who sold this stone? And Forrest and I took bets.
Yeah, we paused it. And we were like, girl with long hair.
The guy with shortish medium hair.
Medium hair. And a talking Meowth. And that was almost word for word what the girl says, what Florida says.
The exact same thing, just with, like, a different sentence.
Yeah, exactly. And we're like, of course it was. She might as well have said, oh, it was Team Rocket. Like, it just would have been...
And then Brock would have been like, well, yeah, maybe you are a tablet trainer. Of course, you bought a stone from Team Rocket. Like, yeah, of course it's fake.
Oh my god, why did I write this? I wrote, Nick says, I don't know why you said this, but you said, Brock, do not try to f*** her. Whatever you do, do not try to f*** that girl.
Oh, okay. She was, like, in the middle of, like, her f***ing, she's a terrible trainer. Like, she was going really hard on herself.
Yeah.
Like, she obviously has, like, a mental, like, self-esteem issue. She is severely manically depressed. And Brock, because he tries to f*** every hot girl he sees, should not go near her.
No.
She needs support.
Yes.
Not f***ing.
Yes, for real. And he's just like every step of the way, just like, oh, everything will be okay. You probably treat your Gloom so well.
You love your Gloom. No, okay, I almost...
You don't even know, Brock. F*** you.
Let me see if I can remember the line, word for word, what Brock says. You give your Gloom so much love that it can't be gloomy, so it can't evolve into Vileplume.
That's pretty much what he says.
That's not how that works.
That's not how any Pokemon evolves.
No Pokemon evolves through sadness.
No, that is not a mechanic. That's never been a mechanic.
I do want to see that.
It'd be an interesting mechanic, actually.
It would be really sad, though.
Yeah, but like, it evolves at level 70, but it has to have 0 happiness.
Yeah, you have to be f***ed up in order to raise a Pokemon like that. Like, yeah, you give it all the proteins and shit. That proteins and shit make it happier, but then you have to make it faint so many times.
Or just give it those bitter roots or whatever they are that make them, that like restore their health but makes them mad.
But like, how many of those?
You have to do a lot,
many.
yeah.
That's so f***ing many.
It would be a very interesting mechanic, though. Like, if there was a Pokemon that maybe at, like, level 55 or 60, it could evolve either into something really powerful when it's happy, or something else that's really powerful but also dark if it's not happy at all.
Typhonol would be a good Pokemon to do that.
It would be, actually.
Yeah.
It would be.
Like, it just embraces that darkness, and so it, like, loses more speed but gets more defense. Yeah.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
That would make sense. Okay, so going back, getting this back on the rails somehow. I wrote the guy, Florinda's brother, is... Because we haven't been introduced... We don't know what his relationship to her is at all by this point in the episode yet.
Florinda's co-worker?
Co-worker, brother, possible
Employee?
employee, possibly, like, the butler, possibly her like,
stalker.
cousin. Yeah, stalker. Like, we don't know the relationship at all. But I just wrote, he's the most nonchalant person ever. I can't remember what he says, but the way he says it. Because it's something like, oh, the stone is fake. And he just says it just so...
The stone is fake.
Yeah, he just says it so flatly.
He doesn't even defend Florinda.
No. And she never talks to him throughout this entire episode. I don't think they have a single line to each other.
Just want to point that out.
You guys got to point that out. Just make sure that is known. My next note is Florinda character is just awful.
What she is.
She's awful. She's just so mopey.
Can we talk about Team Rocket?
Sure, go for it.
Because I actually like Team Rocket in this
Let's get to
episode.
something else besides Florinda.
Team Rocket was like... I don't know what it was about this episode, but Team Rocket themselves were like really funny. Because they were like just hanging around in the botanical garden still. I don't know why.
Why were they? Yeah.
I guess they were like, hey, we sold her fake stone. Maybe we could sell her fake Pokeballs. I don't know.
So they're just hanging around.
Yeah.
They're just there.
And so when they do their Team Rocket pose, they're actually like posing an R. Oh, like Jessie jumps out of the bush gracefully, like it's nothing. Like one, it's in one frame. She's out of the bush. James like stumbles out of the bush, and then they form an R. And James is like,
James on the floor and
Jessie's
Jessie
on top
of him.
And James is like, I can't. No, the weight. And then Meowth says, "Cat got your tongue," and that doesn't make sense, Meowth.
That's not the. That's
Shut
not
up,
quite
Meowth.
the.
You
right
ruined it
context.
again, Meowth.
I know.
Um,
Damn you, Meowth. You're lucky you had a really good episode in this batch.
you are.
You are so lucky.
Oh, and this is how Team Rocket's been making money to
Yeah.
fuel their robots and
Which
balloons.
makes sense. Like, this is
selling fake rocks.
This is actually a pretty... I don't know if I'm going to call it a smart plan, because, like, they're kind of obviously fake, but they fool at least some people, so it's a good enough scam to get them by.
I mean, in a movie where it can be conceived to be a good idea, where a movie starring only Pokemon is a thing, people are probably pretty dumb.
Yeah, they are. They're super powerful, but they're not all there. I'm sure they battle.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's right, because
it's a whole thing.
they steal the little stun leaf, because that was what Bulbasaur sniffed earlier, and he got passed out.
So, yeah.
And they
Meowth made
it up.
a super Japanese smoke bomb.
And everyone got paralyzed and on the floor. And then, all except for Gloom. And Brock's
because they were up on the pedestal thing.
Brock's like, Florinda, you gotta use your Gloom to get rid of to battle Team Rocket, get rid of them. She's like, I can't. I'm so terrible at battling. And
it's like a minute conversation.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my god, shut the up, lady.
Just
You're awful.
What other choice do you have?
I
Stop
know.
debating it. Just do it.
Just do it. Okay. And it turns out like her Gloom knows like double team and f***ing solar beam, the most powerful grass type attack. She's like, well, I also know solar beam. Should I use it?
Wait, Solar Beam's the most powerful grass type attack? You taught your Gloom Solar Beam the most powerful grass Pokemon attack? And she says, yeah, I saw it in the magazine.
The context being, you taught your f***ing Gloom solar beam and you're wondering if it's good at battling? F***ing Christ, use solar beam to knock these guys out of here. What the hell's wrong with you?
And so, using Double Team and Solar Beam, they killed Team Rocket again.
Actually, I guess double team and solar beam would be a good combination because while it's charging up the solar beam,
The evasion.
it'd be invading. So
yeah. That's a good Gen 1 move.
that's good. Yeah, that's a good Gen 1 combination.
Double Team's still for bitches, though, which fits.
Because she's a bitch.
She's a bitch.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
She's
I
not
know
a mean bitch. She's just a...
she
bitchy
needs to
bitch.
get her f***ing shit fixed.
She really does. She really does.
Because I don't have the patience for someone that emotionally unstable. I don't have the patience for someone, while I'm training Pokemon, who's willing to say how much they suck, when in fact they're actually really good.
Yeah. Gloom took out like 3 Pokemon at a time with one attack. So
with their trainers.
With their trainers. Ain't too bad.
And so then Brock says, you don't even need to evolve Gloom into Vileplume.
No.
But you want to, though.
Yeah.
So
you really should just
do
evolve it.
that. And then she says, you know, Brock, you've given me the courage to not be a whiny bitch. And I want to ask something that I've wanted to ask for a long time. Setting it up for, like, Brock to, who's been supporting her for the entire episode.
Yeah.
She's Charmander. It's Charmander all over
I know,
again.
it really is. It really is, because Brock turns around and he's like, oh, man, I can't believe it. Finally, I get a girl. After all this time, I finally am able to get a girl. And then he turns back around. She's not there. Ash is like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you talking about? Who are you talking to? What's going on? And he looks around, and Florinda's talking to
that guy.
A named guy. Yeah. And she's like, hey, I love you. Let's be a couple.
And in the real Pokemon world, he's like, okay, you know what? We're going to take you to a doctor. The doctor prescribes her bipolar medicine. she doesn't quite take to it. She becomes more mentally unstable. She eventually kills herself. There's a ceremony thrown.
Man.
The unnamed guy says, by the way, my name was Gerald. And he kills himself because he feels guilty for her killing herself. And Brock just watches all this with popcorn, and he's like, yes.
Charmander all over again.
Charmander all over again.
So now, since he didn't get a girl, I guess no one else in the show is going to be ever able to get a girl or a guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds about right. So, Nick, how do you rate this episode?
I gave it 2.
I gave it 1.5.
See, I gave it 2 because it's not as annoying.
Yeah, exactly.
As 1.5 and 1's
It's
for
not
me.
aggressive. It's weird because it's not really aggressively, like, annoying or bad and specifically, but at the same time, there's just nothing really going for it at all.
No, it's
Like, if I rate an episode like 2 Voltorbs, there's at least gotta be some, like, okay, I find this plot really interesting, or like this has a good concept, or I understand what they were kind of going for. But the meat of this story was, this girl is super self-deprecating, and at the end she talks to a guy, that has not shared a single line with her.
That's why it's a meh for me.
It's very meh. It's aggressively meh for me.
Mm.
And there wasn't a whole lot, like, of really weird, like, throw you out of the moment stuff. I mean, with the exception being of Professor Oak just being in there.
Oh yeah, Professor Oak was throughout the episode. I completely forgot.
Because he had 2 lines in the whole episode. He was there. He was there in, like, one of the later scenes.
You know
that
what-
was it.
You know what they should do? They should have been like, beginning of the episode, Delilah's like reading a newspaper. Oh, apparently someone's been selling fake rocks to people. And then like later when we get to the fake rock part, Brock's like, hey, that's probably one of those fake rock things. And then she's like, oh, well, I'm such a terrible trainer, I couldn't tell the difference between a fake rock and a real rock. And then she slits her wrists.
Oh, God, why do you want to kill her off? That's awful.
Because she might as well. She's giving up on herself that much that I'm sorry. Like, it's no.
The Pokebears do not endorse suicide in any way.
No, please don't kill yourself.
Please don't actually anyone ever actually kill yourself.
But if you're impassioned for something and if you're training for something, take pride in that.
I know.
Don't say you're terrible at it when you have absolutely no experience with, like, battling with like, doing it. If she had sisters or something and they all raised their Glooms to Vileplumes and they were using Solar Beam, like, with, like, that nonstop and they were fantastic, yeah, sure, that explains sense. From nothing,
yeah. There's nothing motivating her to say that she was just an awful trainer. She just said, I'm an awful trainer. And there was really no repercussion for her to do otherwise by the end of the episode. Except that she, quote-unquote, learned her lesson.
And now she has a boyfriend who...
And now she has a boyfriend.
They don't talk to each other.
Yeah, like, this episode was weak. Let's move on to the next one. Which was also really weak.
Yeah, except weaker, I think.
So you ready for the next episode, then?
Actually, real quick, I know I've been doing this a lot this episode. But I just remembered one of my favorite lines from Team Rocket, because it's a pun, and it's true to Team Rocket. They were explaining why they sold the fake leaf stone is because they tried to turn over a new leaf, but the leaf was fake.
It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it is. Got a good chuckle out of that.
I'm curious about how puns like that translate into the Japanese.
Probably similarly.
All right, so episode number 71, Lights, Camera.
Quack-tion!
I really wish that wasn't the actual title.
It's
But
the
it
actual
is.
title. Yeah, and you have to say it like Quack-tion.
Quack-tion! Lights, camera.
Quack-tion!
Doesn't matter who you are. Lights, camera.
Quack-tion!
Okay, because quack!
Because it's a duck.
Yeah, because this episode's about a duck.
Yeah.
So once upon a time, there was a duck. And I put my...
Oh my god! Shut the
You okay?
I was just imagining a duckling and that image, and it was f***ed up.
You have exploded.
Yeah.
So Pokebears After Dark.
So Ash and the gang
So Ash and the gang are walking.
Go a couple steps, and then the music comes in.
Yeah.
It's like,
then the narrator.
and then the narrator.
And then I don't know if I've ever had this many notes like in the first like 20 seconds of a freaking episode before. But there was like, while hiking on to their next adventure, and I'm really like, what do you mean their next adventure? They should be training. There shouldn't be any adventures right now. No adventures. They should be training for the freaking Pokemon League.
Training is an adventure.
He's been training for a couple. What else did he say? Oh, they come across a place to do their campsite. I'm like, why are they camping? Why are they camping?
And
he was living with his mom.
And they can finally begin their training.
God damn.
Unless something else catches Ash's eye.
Unless something more interesting comes along.
That's it.
And I'm like, what would be more interesting than training? And why is something able to prevent him from training? And then it's Jigglypuff, and I'm like, no! Bad episode! Bad!
They know to avoid Jigglypuff. They
Damn
know
it.
to do that.
Why have they not shot Jigglypuff? Well, why? Why have they not killed it by this point? I would understand them killing Jigglypuff over killing Team Rocket at this point. Like,
Only guns in this universe either shoot out nets or are owned by old cowboys.
all the guns in this universe have this magical property that they can make the episode be banned.
Yeah.
Actually, would that be a bad case in this episode's case?
No, it wouldn't be.
See?
Would not be a bad case. Because you're not missing a lot. Missing a lot with this one.
Alright, so this episode gets into high gear when Ash comes across a trainer named Katrina. She's not f***ing around. She's like, alright, no questions, no words, we're gonna battle. Go Raichu. And Ash is like, yeah, go Pikachu.
And then they start battling.
And then they start battling.
And Katrina's got a really cool character design, by the way.
Yes, she does.
Like she's
very
rocking like the jacket, the shorts,
got like the crappy, like spiky little hair.
the overalls, like on the side.
Yeah, she's kind of tall, and she and her Raichu have a really strong bond. We get to see that a lot in this episode. It's actually really hard to watch the battle because at one point I wasn't sure whether to root for Pikachu or for Ash. And like they really go at it like ah,
And they use like really brilliant like strategies throughout the entire thing.
Yeah. And we get to see someone else's strategy for a change. Like at one point she switches out and sends in Golbat, and Pikachu gets confused because it has super.
So then Ash has to send out his Charizard, which is like a 50-50 chance that's going to flip out. But then they have like the Sky Battle.
Oh my god, the Sky Battle was f***ing amazing.
Oh my god. And thank God that it wasn't interrupted by some fucking sham of a character that takes away from the entire fucking momentum of the show and puts it somewhere else that doesn't need to go at all. Thank God someone who wants to make Airbuds, the Pokemon equivalent, doesn't show up in this episode. Thank God for that.
Damn it, man.
You wrote his name in the next episode. What? It's something
his name
Spielbunk?
is Clevant
Spielbunk.
Spielbunk. Damn it. Yeah.
So that does happen, by the way.
Yeah, in case you couldn't guess, none of that fucking happens. She and Ash do agree to have a battle. Absolutely none of the battle takes place because immediately...
Like, they start to tackle each other, and then he says...
No. You're forgetting. Team Rocket intervenes, and they catch Raichu with a net.
That's it.
And then they're like, hey, man, this is stupid. We're going to electrocute Team Rocket. Then Clevant Spielbunk, what a stupid name, intervenes.
But get it, it's like Spielberg.
I get it.
Oh, okay. I thought that might have gone over your head. Probably goes over a lot of people's heads.
Probably it does, because, I mean, it's really subtle.
Yeah. He's the director, and Spiel?
Spiel? What?
Spielberg would not want to make Airbud, though.
No, he has a little bit more class than that.
Yeah.
A lot more class. So this Clevant Spielberg guy, he's on fucking like cocaine or something.
Mm-hmm.
My God. And he's like, we're gonna make a movie and I need to cast some Pokemon because it's an all Pokemon cast.
Then he talks about himself and how he's great because he won the Flea Collar Award.
Yeah. It's like the Golden Arcanine.
Yeah.
Apparently his most recent movie that a few people have seen, they really liked it, was called, what was it called? It's like...
I saw what you ate last Tuesday. No, not a few. One. Brock saw it, and Katrina was going to go see it.
Apparently a lot of people were going to go see it because it lost millions, according to him, at the box office.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's weird because it has the title... That would be like spoofing a freaking like I Saw What You Did Last Summer.
An art noir.
But at the same time, it's like a Yasujiro Ozu like noir type movie or something. Like it's weird. So this guy is a hack, essentially.
Yeah,
is what we're going for.
He is.
Like, and he kind of talks like one, to be honest. Like, he seems to know, like, he's going to do this grand, epic spectacle of a plot, but he actually has no idea what the hell he's doing. He's kind of like a Tommy Wiseau.
He does. He is. He has, like, a whole, like, scene list that he films in, but then he'll film the scene. The scene will not do what's in the scene list, and he'll be like, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's what I want. Let's do it. He even, like...
You said you only wanted Pokemon, but there are humans. No, it's good.
It's good. This is what I want. It's like, you are an idiot. People would hate working with you.
Yeah.
So the best part of this episode, though, was when there's no dancing in the movie, so I don't know why he's having the Pokemon dance, but he's like, okay, I need the Pokemon to dance.
Oh, yeah, I want to cast my star to go along with this Wigglytuff.
Yeah. The Wigglytuff is a bitch, and it bitch slaps everyone on set for no reason.
Maybe it's just the Jigglypuff line.
It could very well
They got
be.
Personality.
Oh, first they all need to sing, though. And, of course, the moment someone says the word sing in a Pokemon anime episode, who appears?
Jigglypuff.
Jigglypuff. Like, it was just there. It didn't walk. We didn't see it walk on stage. It didn't, like, float there or anything. It didn't even, like, teleport or pull itself out of its own asshole or anything. It's just there.
And it does sing.
It just starts singing, and then everyone goes to sleep.
And then it's all mad, and then it fucking scribbles everyone, except this time the scribbles are laced with poison, and they die, and then they don't wake up, and they're surprised by the fact that Jigglypuff, once again, vandalizes their face. No, because they're dead. They've been poisoned.
I wish that had happened.
Yeah.
It would have been way more
That'd be a change of pace, right?
Yeah, it would.
But no, the Jigglypuff formula happens again. Is that the only thing that Jigglypuff does, though?
Yeah.
Okay, so Jigglypuff just...
It just appears, it sings, scribbles, and walks away. Well,
so
vanishes.
I guess that's 3 minutes filled.
Yeah.
Great.
Pretty much. That's why Pikachu. That's why Jigglypuff exists. It exists to fill up time. Just like Team Rocket.
The next Jigglypuff I'm going to catch, I'm going to name Phil Time.
Phil.
Yeah.
Time.
No, it will be Time. Time.
Still like it.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Oh, so yeah, when he's casting for the co-star, Brock sends out Vulpix, which is a bad idea because it's a quadruped, and if you want a Pokemon movie, you want to have like Pokemon that walk on 2 legs so they can resemble humans to carry a movie. And then Misty sends out an even worse idea, Staryu.
Well, that's her plan anyway.
That's her plan. Because it's a star!
Yes, but
an unfeeling, emotionless star that you can't relate to at all in the movie. So then Psyduck comes out. I'm like, you know what? That's a good idea.
Better. Oh, but Psyduck's so dumb. Blah, 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 blah.
She doesn't punch it, though.
No.
Maybe they
her
got,
hand
like...
is sore.
Her hidden hand is sore. So, yeah, they compete against each other. It's Pikachu and Raichu and Vulpix and Psyduck and Meowth and Team Rockets.
And the dancing scene was literally what made me not give this, like, my worst possible score, because that was adorable. Like, it was, like, I was like, okay, if the rest of this episode was just the dancing, like, I might want to, like, get drunk or something and get some snacks. But I could live with this.
If the rest of this episode was dancing, I would throw the computer against the wall. Because you cannot make an episode like that.
Well, can you make an episode like the one they made?
I mean, that's at least better than an entire episode filled with dancing. That's all I'm saying.
So then Wigglytuff, I guess the dancing of some of these Pokemon just displeases her. I can't remember why. But she just starts bitch slapping everyone again.
Mm-hmm. And Psyduck's the only one who is unaware of what Wigglytuff is, so he just stays and is like, yeah, okay.
They cast Psyduck as the love interest in this movie. Man, the more you talk about...
They're not even in the same egg group.
Yeah. The more you talk about this freaking, like, idea behind this episode, the less sense it makes.
Yeah. So then the next scene is the director showing the gang and not his crew. So here's what the plot of the movie's going to be, and it's Romeo and Juliet again, but stupid.
Yeah, it's very stupid.
And so Ash and company are like, oh my god, this is going to be fantastic! We'll work on the movie for free! Which, okay, folks, we're both actors.
Number one, we would never work for free. Number two, if a director is allowing you to work for free, that's a shady director. Do not work with him.
If you want to test out if a movie's worth working for, and the director's not like a friend of yours or something, offer to work for free. And if they say yes, then leave.
Then leave. It is not SAG supported, definitely. Like what happened? They start shooting the movie, right? That's what happened next.
He starts with the finale because he likes to know how they're gonna end.
So obviously he has no script for this damn thing. He's just like, we'll wing it, whatever.
Well, he cast his co-star and started shooting on the fucking same day.
I know.
Of course he doesn't have an idea.
This guy is terrible. This next bit was actually kind of interesting too. Was when they had like the Magneton were
the Magnemite and Kingler. Okay, that was genius.
Yes, it was.
That's what gave me the higher rating than I would have given it normally.
Yeah, definitely.
Because floating electricity to power up lights.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
A claw. That's just a slate. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
And then it's like the Pokemon were the special effects. Like Staryu was like squirting out the water for the rain, and the Pikachu and Raichu were making the thunder. By the way, the Katrina girl's still in this episode for some reason.
But like, because
her character doesn't move.
Because they introduced the director who's animated all the f***ing time. She doesn't move. They left out the budget for her.
She doesn't. Yeah, she's.
They're like
you her all the time, but like she never moves.
We should have just given the rights to the director.
Yeah. Man, this was really not well thought out.
We didn't even need a Raichu, damn it.
She has like a line for the rest of the episode, right?
Yeah.
So dumb.
I'll help too. I think that's
like her line. So anyway, the Pokemon like making the movie, that stuff was kind of cool. World building stuff. I kind of enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And then Team Rocket gets in there.
But then they walk in like it's them like we're gonna be Team Rocket, haha, and then they all get beat up.
Yeah.
But then turns out that's a ploy. Turns out looks like they didn't have a plan because they do have a plan.
Which honestly, that's a plan they should go with more often.
Meowth is
catch everyone by
crane, which isn't much of a plan.
No, they just kind of grab all the Pokemon. It's like
it succeeds.
We got them all, and then who shoots Team Rocket off this time?
Psyduck! Psyduck does!
Right, yeah. We always forget that Psyduck that kills them.
And this is the other reason why I gave it more than I usually give it.
Yes, because this was great.
This is the best Psyduck moment. Like, they, like, shadow Psyduck so menacingly. Mm-hmm. He's having, like, existential crisis, and he's not being hit by anything. This is all stress.
Yeah.
Like, Psyduck is running around because, like, the pressure is on him to save the day.
And Missy's like, you gotta do something. Use a move. Anything. Do anything. And Psyduck just starts running around in circles. He's like, that's not right.
That's not right. Why haven't you hit me yet? Why are you expecting me to do something? You always yell at me that I'm a failure. Ah! And then he just breaks down. And then just goes into, like, confusion. And he's like, duck. 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 And then, like, causes, like, the whole crane to, like, implode. And, like, to release the lever itself. And the Pokemon are free. And then Team Rocket blasts off and is sent into the 11th dimension.
Where they belong.
Where they belong. And so then...
and that was great. That was
pretty much.
That was pretty much the episode. I don't know how the rest of the episode turns out. They finished making the movie, I'm sure.
They finished making.
Because he's like everyone's been like making cameos and stuff, and they're like, that was great take, print it. I'm like, you suck, Ed Wood, director.
He does.
It's awful.
Oh, and then we see Team Rocket there in a tree in front of the moon.
Very end. Yeah, and that was the episode.
I gave it 1.5.
So did I. For probably the same reasons. Because this was almost a one Voltorb episode.
If it wasn't for the saving graces it had, it would have been a...
Yeah.
It would have easily been a 1.
It was like whoever directed... It was kind of almost... Remember Showdown at Dark City or whatever that episode is called? Where it was like... Just like the little individual moments saved the out of that episode.
Yeah.
Same basic concept
Same basic concept.
Because, man, this episode was... It was kind of annoying, especially with Spielbunk or whoever he was. He was annoying as shit.
I hated him.
Every time he's on screen, it was terrible. But
we should have like a worst character.
I was honestly thinking about doing that too. Have anything else for this episode? I
liked Psyduck more.
Yeah, Psyduck's great.
Psyduck and Team Rocket. If you have a Team Rocket Psyduck episode. Can you imagine how f***ing good that would be?
Yeah. When Team Rocket's on, they're on. When Psyduck's on, he's on. Just take away, like, Jigglypuff and Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff was awful, too.
Wigglytuff's only going to be in that one episode.
I know, but Jigglypuff as well is just negativity and slapping people. That's awful.
Like, it was the 90s. Was slapstick popular back then?
It doesn't matter if slapstick was popular. Like, you still don't do, like, literal slapstick.
Oh.
It's just mean. All right. Well, this episode was trash.
Yeah, let's go on to the next one.
All right, on to the next episode. Episode number 72.
72!
Go west, young Meowth.
Go west, young Meowth. Fulfill your destiny.
First of all, I want to point out that in the beginning of this episode, they were like, hey, Ash, you need to go train for Pokemon League. Because they got an invitation to go see the grand premiere of the Psyduck movie.
That was really quick.
It was super f***ing quick. That should be another, like, cue that this is going to be a
If Post takes no time at all,
yeah. There's no reason.
You don't have a good movie on.
There's no reason for Post to not take any time. Like, that was less than a week. What the hell?
No.
It's already in theaters? That's impossible. Unless it's a terrible movie. They got invited to go to Hollywood, California to see the
Do they
premiere of the
say
movie.
California?
Yeah, they say Hollywood, California.
Oh, okay.
So, like, oh, yeah, everyone's like, we're going to go to Hollywood, California, except for you, Ash. You got to stay here and train. And Ash is like, but I don't wanna. I want to go with you. And they're like, okay. And Nick's like, well, Ash, like, if you don't want to
train, just don't.
Then don't. If you don't want to do the Pokemon League, then don't do it.
Because you're finding every little excuse.
I know.
To avoid training. Like, just give up then.
Yeah.
You obviously don't want to do it.
Yeah, like this is. You're like the kid who's like, I want to take ballet, and then like they train for a while, and like, I don't want to do this anymore.
And then they're just playing on their Game Boy on the side instead.
And they're like, and then the parents are like, well, okay, well, we won't do ballet anymore. He's like, no, I love ballet.
You don't.
Obviously, you don't.
He is a 10-year-old.
He is.
No, he's an 11-year-old. Excuse me.
He is an 11-year-old. He is a kid.
So I guess that applies. It's annoying.
It's annoying. He get off the pot.
I want to see the protagonist of a show about battling Pokemon be more enthusiastic about training to battle his Pokemon. Is that so wrong of me to ask?
I wouldn't think so, but maybe so.
So anyway, they go to California.
And
Team Rocket's also there.
Now, one of my the animation in this was really creative and interesting. I gotta say,
Team Rocket actually had straight up anime glittery eyes.
They did, yeah. And the way, this is one of my only like sort of complaints for this entire episode was the way they get into Meowth's whole backstory is just like Meowth's like, okay, here's my backstory now.
Yeah.
And then they tell him about it. Like, it's just kind of weird.
Like, I thought they did like this town's really changed, and
no, they didn't do that until after they got to the town.
Oh.
And then Meowth got more into his backstory.
Weird.
To start off with, they were just like, Meowth was just like, hey, here's my backstory now. I don't know why.
It's a great backstory.
It is. Like, let's just wrap up everything the Ash and Company do for the rest of this episode now.
Okay, yeah. They get to Hollywood. The animators acknowledge the fact that Delilah is a MILF.
By making her the Marilyn Monroe.
And then the next time we see them, they're at the movie theater, and
the director's there. He's like, come see the movie. And it turns out they're literally the only 4 people who bought tickets to this damn thing.
Or who bothered to come.
Yeah.
Because they didn't buy tickets. They were there. They were invited.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another good sign.
This movie's gonna tank, like, hardcore, man.
And the fact that we didn't even see any of the movies. Like, yeah, no, that makes sense.
This movie's gonna tank hard.
And they would complain that they were cut out of the movie. And then the director said, well, I did say I was making a Pokemon-only movie.
Which, fair enough.
So I don't know why you're complaining. And then Ash would come and you're like, f*** you. And then Ash and then they call the police. And then Ash gets arrested for public indecency. And then Ash can no longer be a Pokemon trainer. Because he, 1, caused a traffic accident. And 2... And so that's the end of the series.
To be fair, this is one of the characters in the series that I would gladly if given the opportunity. I don't know how much of this I'm going to keep in the official cut of this episode,
that's good. I don't know. I don't know. So anyway, let's get to the good part of this show.
I mean, not that that's necessarily bad,
but let's get to the better part.
Let's get to the meat of this episode, which is Meowth's backstory. But aside from like the really kind of jarring introduction to his backstory, the rest is actually played out very, very smoothly because they get to the same. They followed them to Hollywood, California for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. They're like, oh, they're going to Hollywood. Okay, sure, let's.
It's one of like the streets that's like all poor now and run down and closed down and everything, which another sign that this movie's gonna tank. That's the only place they can show it.
In a back alley theater that's like, yeah, sure, we'll show it. You made this movie a week ago?
Yeah,
okay.
All right, yeah. Is this another porn movie? We're gonna show him in between 2 porn movies, so like, just be careful where you sit.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So...
Hopefully you don't invite a lot of people. I invite my whole cast and crew. Oh, that's gonna be. You know what? It sounds like that won't be a problem. So yeah, it starts off with Meowth like being abandoned as a kitten. By the way, he was in a casket, a little
basket.
A little basket. That means he had a human caretaker.
Yeah,
at one
and
point.
they literally abandoned him because his first memories are being abandoned and like not being abandoned, but he is alone in a basket and like he's being rained on and stuff. He goes around, he tries to like play with humans and everything, and the humans are awful.
Oh my
to
god,
him.
they fucking like tie him
lynch
up
him.
in a rope.
They practically lynch him.
They're like 5 inches short of lynching him.
I know. They tie him up his chest or whatever and pull him up into a tree and leave him there
because
overnight.
he tried to eat baseballs because he was that hungry.
Yeah.
That he thought they were rice.
My god. Poor Meowth.
Like, feed the cat. Don't fucking hang it in the tree.
Jesus.
You're an adult. You are
I
caring
know.
for children.
Imagine if, like, you went outside right now and saw some ass tying up a cat and hanging it into a tree.
I would punch that guy.
Yeah, that's awful. That's just over the top cruel, man.
So while Meowth, I was about to call him Meowth Ash. While Meowth is hanging in this horrible situation, it's been hours, possibly days. This like huge mustache guy is premiering a movie that was made right here in Hollywood. Me, I'm a generic character. He won't say again. And he shows like, what was it?
Well, the animation was definitely from like the movie Roman Holiday, but they call it something like Meowth's. That darn Meowth.
That darn Meowth
is what they call it, and it has this fake movie has a Meowth in it. Roman Holiday does not, but that's like the animation they were using was from Roman Holiday.
Well, I'm sure Roman Holiday doesn't have a lot of Pokemon in it.
No, it does not. It has very few Pokemon.
Oh, okay.
Almost no Pokemon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Don't see a lot of movies like that
I
nowadays.
know. It's weird. So Meowth is like, oh, hey, they got ice cream and chicken in Hollywood. I'm going to go
Hollywood.
I'm going to go to Hollywood.
And he does, and it fails. He just feels it's more cruelty.
Guy throws
at
a frying pan and it hits him in the back of the head, and Meowth does not die.
Miraculously.
Miraculously.
So then he encounters a gang of Meowth in Persian, and they're like, yeah, here's some fish.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to join our gang? And Meowth's like, yeah, Meowth! Because Meowth doesn't know how to talk yet. Meowth is Meowth.
Meowth, Meowth, Meowth. Meowth, 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 Meowth.
So then they're all looting that chef's place again, and they all steal food. It's great. But then Meowth falls in love.
He does. With Meowsy.
Meowsy. Rhymes with lousy.
It does.
Realized that.
And Meowsy isn't having any Meowth's bull.
Because Meowsy is pampered. Mm-hmm. She's got like bows in her hair. She's sitting on like this pedestal with a pillow on top. And her trainer, a monster of a woman.
Terrible animated woman. But
she looks like that woman that like Jesse ran into in Las Vegas.
I was thinking
area.
that too.
I wonder if they're like the same person.
Maybe they're cousins with each other.
That could be true.
She's got like a diamond encrusted Pokeball.
And Meowsy loves that for some god awful. Oh, because Meowth's like
they like shiny things. So yeah.
Meowsy loves that, and so Meowsy's like, "Hey, you're a fucking Meowth. You're not a human.
Mm-hmm. Humans are amazing.
Humans are amazing.
They pamper you and And Meowth's like, humans suck. What are you talking about?
Meowsy's, well, if you want any of this from this pussy, you should be more human-like.
So Meowth takes that to heart, and he goes to like a, I'm assuming it's like a theater school because it's got like speech programs and like ballet,
like the fine arts. Area.
He's in the attic of this place, and he's watching them do ballet and do like the she sells seashells by the seashore. And he's like teaching himself to walk on 2 legs. The voice actor does really well in this episode.
Oh my god, that voice actor for Meowth is so good.
Yeah, especially with like the transition from the Meowth 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 to the seashells. She sells seashells by a seashore.
Meowthnese to English.
Yeah, like it's done so fluidly and like
it's a
not
natural
abrupt.
progression.
Yes, it is.
I can't do it good enough to show like on top. I'd have to practice it to show
But
you how good
it is really good. They do really well with it. They also do really well with Meowth, like learning how to walk upright and
Like,
everything.
it hurts a lot. He's slower.
Yeah, because of that, he can't like run as fast as when he's stealing the fried chicken.
So he does get beat up again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, but he does get a little bit faster each time.
Mm-hmm.
Then eventually, Meowth, being able to talk, walking on two legs, confidently goes up to Meowsy. It's like, hey, I'm a human. I bought these flowers for you. Or I'm not a human, but I can like a human, and I bought these flowers for you. And Meowsy's like, yeah, but you still suck. And now you're just a freak.
Yeah, now you're just a freak Meowth. Like, this is really weird. Like,
This is not what I wanted.
I want a human, not you. I like humans. You're still a Meowth. Like, that's not changing.
Yeah, Meowth joins Team Rocket because one of his, like, learning to speak books had a rocket on it.
Yeah, that was one of the first words he learned how to say on his own.
Rocket.
He joined Team Rocket. And that's where he fit in. And then later on in the episode, Meowth, he's in like a trench coat, like a Humphrey Bogart type character, walking down the street. It's pretty great, actually. He meets his old gang, the Meowths, and led by the one Persian. And they're like, hey, man, come with us. And he's like, okay. So he does. And they want him back in the gang.
And now that Meowth can talk to humans, he's going to be pretty invaluable to that gang.
Completely.
And Meowth's like, nah, man, I'm with Team Rocket now. What have you got that I would want? And the person's like, this bitch. Turns out Meowsy was abandoned by her trainer.
Because her trainer lost all of her money, and she's like, you'll do all right by your own.
I like how she has no idea how to use money. When you're that wealthy, you have no reason to have to abandon your Pokemon.
Yeah.
If you're smart about it, you can just live off that.
Yeah, but nope.
No.
I guess she just
spends
loses
too much.
she loses all of her money, and she gets rid of Meowsy. Meowsy gets taken in by the street gang.
Mm-hmm. Team Rocket's like, yeah, no, we're supporting Meowth, and you know what? That female Meowth should join up with us. And so Meowth and Persian do a fight. Meowth actually wins.
He does. Persian goes down. Meowth, this is the first battle I think he's ever won throughout the entire series.
Good job, Meowth.
Good job, Meowth. At some point, not in this episode, but I think I've heard this said before, isn't the reason why Meowth can only use, like, Scratch, and not even, he can't even use Payday. He just uses
can't
Scratch,
use Payday.
is because he used up too many of his, essentially, move slots on talking and walking upright.
Yeah.
And that wasn't said here, but I think that is said
That's the
in
theory.
some other part of canon.
That's the theory because in Detective Pikachu, I think that Pikachu can't use electric moves because he talks.
Because he talks. Which
Yeah.
kind of makes sense. Meowth takes down that Persian, and Meowsy runs to him. Not Meowth.
The Persian.
The Persian, because...
The Persian took her in
Yeah,
and helped her defend for herself.
Yeah,
It would be wrong to abandon him.
and she still
Or
thinks... And plus she still thinks Meowth's kind of a freak. But the point is really just like, timing, really.
Yeah.
Just...
Meowth's
Persian was
not
there
worth
for her. Yeah, Persian was there for her. Meowth wasn't. This scene especially, but this episode, very, very well animated. This might be the best animated episode of the entire show so far.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the color palette looked great, like, in almost every scene.
And the contrast between past and present.
Past and present, like, the rundown buildings look really aesthetically pleasing.
And it's an emotional story.
Yeah.
And it has irony.
It
And
does.
you don't see that in Pokemon.
No.
But this one's like a more punishing irony.
Yeah.
Because if Meowth had not learned how to be human, Meowth would probably be with Meowsy.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely he would be.
Yeah.
But he learns how to be human and
Loses that connection. with Meowth.
And he can never get that back, and that's shown here. He has to be with Team Rocket. He has a reason to be with Team Rocket.
But Team Rocket is more than happy, though. Like, Team Rocket loves Meowth.
Yeah,
That's why they go on all their adventures together. When they get blasted off, they get blasted off together.
that's right. It's funny because these characters are the weakest written characters, except for when they're the best written characters.
If it's not about them, they're terrible.
Exactly.
If it is about them, they are the best.
It's because, there's just something about Team Rocket, and for whatever reason, their connection to each other just brings out natural, good storytelling elements. Which, weirdly enough, you do not see any of that between Ash and Misty and Brock.
It's because Team Rocket, they're losers.
Yeah.
Like, they have to join a gang in order to, be successful in life. They lose constantly with each other, and in life they lose.
And there's something about each one of them that the others need in order to continue on together. Misty doesn't really need anything from Ash, except for the literal bicycle.
The bicycle that Ash owes Misty.
Yeah.
That's not a friendship thing. That is a transaction.
Exactly. Like, I'm sure, like, they're technically friends, but there's little chemistry between them other than that very weak storytelling connection.
Do you know how Misty
And
leaves?
Brock is the same way.
Do you know how Misty leaves Ash yet?
No.
Okay.
I'm very interested.
Okay. No, I don't want to spoil it for you then.
That's fine. But it's funny to me. All I'm saying is that it's very interesting to me that the villains who, when they're not the focus of the episode, they're like terrible characters.
They take away from the episode.
Take away from the
usually.
episode.
They're just like gaggy. And
Yeah, they just recite
their
puns.
best lines are puns.
Yeah, like there's very little to them outside of episodes that revolve around them.
Oh wait, oh my god. Can we... So, let's go back to Ash and Gang for their last scene.
Mm-hmm.
The movie finishes,
Yeah.
and the director's like, well, yeah, I invited you because this is a opening, but you cut us out. Well, it doesn't matter. But then Team Rocket shows up.
Yes, they do.
And I was afraid that they were about to take away all the precious moments we had just got from them. Like, I was prepared to give this a 2 after this thing. But no, Ash and Gang are like, what are you doing here? And they're like, oh, we just wanted to be here. Because, we were in the movie too.
Yep.
Goodbye, we're in Vibrant Musical Theater.
They're like tuxedos, and then they just like tap dance off stage, and that's the end.
That's the end.
That's the end.
That's how it ends. And the Team Rocket, even when it's about them, and then they just show up like they usually do, they show up so well.
I know. My God, why? How? How is it even possible that these terribly, horribly written characters end up being the best parts of the show?
That's just the Pokemon conundrum.
It is. How many Voltorbs you giving this episode?
You know what? I had 3.5, but then I just convinced myself 4.
Yeah, you know what? This is my second 4 Voltorb episode. And similar to the other one, it's about Team Rocket.
It's about Team Rocket.
I
And
mean,
their bonds.
it's a complex story. It has a lot of emotional content. It's not quite as strong as Holy Matrimony, in my opinion.
It's like a 3.8.
Yeah, exactly. But I still think it's worthy of 4 Voltorbs. I mean, for the animation alone, which is gorgeous, and then like Meowth being centered on Meowth and showing his journey into becoming the person that he, cat that he is, but person as well.
The cat person freak.
Yeah, exactly. And how he is not accepted anywhere in society except with Jesse and James. And honestly, I went into this episode thinking like, ugh, whatever. I'll probably like think it's okay, but I'm not gonna love it. Well, it proved me wrong because
I did have good hosts with this one.
I did too. I really did too.
Because I remember I didn't see this whole episode back in the day.
Uh-huh.
I only saw the bit of it, but I really liked the bit of it that I saw. I think I had school or something that morning, because I saw it before school special. I just like the friendly bonds of the people that are
Especially people we root against.
the
But
people
we end up
we root against.
for
And
them.
we root for them. I like the friendship of losers.
Yeah. I mean, it puts an interesting dynamic on these characters that are always in the way and whom we always hate.
We need a Jesse episode, like a good Jesse
I know.
episode.
Because the closest we've had so far, I think, is Holiday Hijinks.
Yeah, and I'm not counting that one.
No, I'm not either. Maybe we'll get one eventually. I don't know, though, because Jessie,
She's so antagonistic.
Yeah, I mean, I could end up being wrong, but I feel like she wouldn't carry an episode as well as, like, Meowth or James apparently do.
Well, would you have thought Meowth would be able to carry an episode like that?
This is true. This is so incredibly true, because Meowth was always arguably my least favorite part of Team Rocket.
Now, James, though, he could carry every
Oh,
episode.
God, James is amazing.
James is
If
a
the show
gold
was
mine.
about James, I would be totally okay with that.
Yeah, we'll probably be given a lot more Voltorb ratings that are higher than 2.
That's exactly right. All right, man. You got anything else for this? This was a good episode.
Follow your dreams, but don't get distracted by girls who are wealth obsessed. Just follow your original dream.
That's right. All right, Nick, are you ready to pick a number between 1 and 354?
200.
200 and what?
200.
200. Okay, 200. It's Muck.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, how do you feel about Muck?
It's there.
It's there?
It's there.
Okay, great.
I like Alolan Muck. I like
Yeah,
it.
Alolan Muck is pretty badass, man.
I actually use Alolan Muck in order to capture high IV Dittos. Because you can, like, use it to... I don't know. I did it so long ago that I don't even remember. Look it up on YouTube. You'll be able to find it, folks.
That there is a method, probably something having to do with recycle and...
No, the Muck kills itself. Oh, it uses memento.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
then.
so like if you use Muck and then you have the Pokemon call it Buddy, you have the Ditto call it Buddy Ditto. The Ditto will transform into the Muck. It will only know memento, and so you'll just keep recycling Dittos, and then the original Ditto will be like a Munchlax or something that knows stockpile
or only recycle with a Lepa Berry.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the method I used.
Yeah,
because I saw that method online.
I remember. Yeah, okay, that's how I've been using Muck. That's the only time I've used Muck.
Really, ever?
Yeah.
I have two Mucks that I really like.
Huh.
One is an Alolan Muck and one is a regular Muck.
Wait a minute, have we talked about Garbodor now?
No.
So Muck is the first of we've talked about Swalot.
Yeah, because I remember you saying, "Oh, it's the pretty Muck," or something like that.
And now we're getting to Muck.
To Muck. To Muck. So I do have two Mucks. One is a Muck with... I gave it Toxic. I gave it Venom Drench. I also gave it... Oh, what's the special move? Venom... Venoshock.
Venom shit.
Venom shit. I gave it Toxic, Venom Drench, Venoshock, and Dark Pulse. So it's like a special Muck, but also like a...
So is this
bulky
the
one.
Cantonese Muck or the Alolan Muck?
The Cantonese Kanto Muck. The Kanto Muck is my special Muck.
Gotcha.
Its special attack isn't great, but like when you use it in conjunction with like the Toxic strategy, the Venoshock is going to be really powerful. So you get stabbed from it, and it's got like a 130 base power, so it's not going to do bad.
But Alolan Muck is more physically oriented, I assume, right?
Yeah.
Do you have an Alolan Muck?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I just trained it. I gave it Curse, which is a great move with Muck because it's so bulky.
And it's slow anyway.
And it's slow anyway. So I gave it like max special defense, max HP with Curse, and then I gave it like Shadow Sneak, which is a great move with Alolan Muck.
Yeah.
I gave it Poison Jab with the Poison Touch ability.
Nice.
So you're getting that high poisoning chance, and then Payback, which is always going to have 100 base power.
So the Poison
with
Jab
stab.
and the Poison Touch stack on top of each other? Nice.
They do. Yeah. Not the same Pokemon, but one of my favorite like Pokemon sets I have right now is, believe it or not, a Seismitoad with Poison Touch. Poison Jab, Drain Punch, Payback, and Dig with leftovers.
Wow, that's pretty physical Seismitoad.
It does, and it stacks really interestingly. So it's kind of same, a similar kind of concept with my
a
bulky
kind of wall.
Yeah,
that can
poison you and take hits. And
yeah.
The idea being that you're trying to outlast your opponent with the poison.
It's a wall. It is a wall breaker.
Yeah, exactly. And Poison Dark is an amazing type combination because it's only weak to ground, whereas Poison is weak to ground and Psychic.
Yeah. So the Dark removes the Psychic thing, but unless you use Miracle Eye.
That is true.
But how many people use Miracle Eye?
I have never seen it in competitive play.
Me neither.
At all, ever.
No.
Which is kind of a shame because it could
Is
be
it?
useful. It's
Could it?
very, very situational. All right, so the optimal, would you make a Muck or an Alolan Muck?
I would.
Do you have a preference for one over the other?
Alolan Muck.
Yeah.
Just because...
Because they have the same exact base stats. It's just the typing that's different. And some of the movesets. Yeah.
Okay.
And some of the movesets.
I just have battled so many Mucks from, like, the villainous teams throughout the years that I've kind of just grown that stigma against Mucks of, like, ugh, it's boring. I've seen it so many times. And Alolan Muck's actually different enough. Like, I don't really think anyone in...
In-game, I don't think anyone really battles with it that much at all.
Skull, maybe Team Skull.
Yeah, not a lot anyway.
Yeah, they use mostly, like, Gumshooses and Rattatas.
I don't know if there's any other... I'm sure there is, actually, but Kanto form to Alolan form, they have completely separate abilities. Kanto Muck has Stench and Sticky Hold and Poison Touch as its hidden ability. That's one that's the same, except Poison Touch is one of Alolan Muck's regular abilities.
I'm pretty sure Vulpix and Sandshrew have completely separate abilities.
That would make sense, because they're completely different types.
Yeah. Ice to fire and ground.
Mm-hmm. Stench is such a hard ability to work with freaking Muck, because it's so slow.
Yeah, the flinch is going to be non-existent.
Yeah, I don't even know if there's a reliable way besides, like, fling whichever ball it is, light ball or something, to cause paralysis.
I mean, you could do Trick Room.
You could, but even then, like, it doesn't... Stench is sounds like it should be an amazing ability, but it doesn't stack with King's Rock or anything, so it's always just that flat 10% chance. And it doesn't stack with any other move that has a chance already as well.
That's lame.
Yeah. And the only Pokemon that get Stench are really freaking slow, like the Skuntank, and Muck.
I wonder what a fast Pokemon with Stench would look like. Would it just be like a little swamp warrior? And it's just like covered in swampy ass moss. And it's like, I smell, but I'm a ninja.
It's a fart. That's the Pokemon that is fast with.
Yeah. It's fart with a strong breeze behind it.
Exactly. Flying and poison.
Anyway, that I give Muck or
you want to talk about Power of Alchemy? Power of Alchemy is a very unique, well, not a super unique ability.
Oh yeah, what
it's
the
almost the same
is Power of Alchemy? Because I remember seeing it, but I again have no experience with it because it's an ability,
almost
right?
It is. It's almost the exact same ability, except for the name of the ability. It's the exact same ability as Passimian's Receiver. So if your ally faints, you get that ability. That's what it is.
That has nothing to do with alchemy. Okay.
It's a weird ability.
Alchemy should be like it converts like an item it has
into something cool.
It converts a miracle seed into heavy metal.
Or like after it uses a berry, it becomes like an iron ball.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Well, an iron ball, not an iron ball, because that's a terrible item. But yeah,
not if you
else.
use it with Fling, because it has like a 140 base power with Fling.
Yeah, but.
But you can only use it once.
Use it, yeah. Again, you can only use it once. Yeah,
Its other two abilities are way better. Poison Touch and Gluttony. Gluttony's kind of hit or miss, but
if you use it well, it's nice.
So what do you think? Like Muck?
I'm gonna give 2 separate ratings for the 2 separate Mucks. Regular Muck gets a rating of 1.5 Voltorbs. Because I'm like, yeah, Team Rocket, it's a poison type. And
it's a really lazy design.
Lazy design. Like, when Gen 1ers complain about modern design, you just point them to Muck, and then you're like, F*** you. And then they're like, oh, well, it's the slime creature. Everything is a slime creature. And then you're like, yeah, but again, an original. Shut up.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, 1.5, and just years of battling it has made me numb to it. But Alolan Muck, I will give 2.5.
There you go.
Towards 2.
There you go.
Out of 4.
I like both Muck, but I like most Pokemon.
Yeah.
So
that's the difference between us.
It is, apparently.
And I like the shows more usually.
Yeah, exactly.
Not by a lot, but
usually.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
that's it for Muck.
That's it for Muck.
Woo! Alright, Nick. You almost forgot, but we gotta talk about Pikachu's jukebox.
I've been meaning to talk about this thing for like 3 episodes now.
I know. We talked about the intro, we talked about the Pokemon rap. We've even talked about the exit.
But around like Viridian City is when they introduced Pikachu's jukebox. I think the first episode was the last episode of Cinnabar Island.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So the first episode to use this, I think, was the conclusion of the Cinnabar Island arc, and it just takes like a song that I guess
they wrote in 20 minutes and performed.
In 20 minutes and performed. They perform a song equivalent to the Pokemon movie that Ash and the gang were in.
Yeah.
And I think we've only heard 5 different ones. If there's more by this point...
It's so hard to tell because they all sound the f***ing same.
But hey, no, I've ranked them, and I do have a preference for them.
The ones that you know of.
Number 5 is the Pikachu Friends song, otherwise called, or as it's actually called, Together Forever. And I don't know how.
Was that one of the ones we heard today?
Yeah, that was one of the ones we heard today. I added that one.
It's like they all have those like 90s like almost
boy
like Christian rock band type of sound where they just sound like all Aryan. So yeah, they all sound almost the exact same. They just have slightly different tempos.
Different tempos, different lyrics, what their different subject matter.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's all about being together. Or number 4 is, this one's different subject matter. It's, what kind of Pokemon are you? How do you do the things you do?
You don't remember that
one? Don't bug me with a Caterpie. A flying type is better than that. If you send a Pidgeotto against that Caterpie from earlier, I'll murder it.
I don't think that's how it goes. That doesn't sound... I don't know.
It's better than how the song is.
That's probably true. That I believe.
Number 3 is Road to Viridian City. This is the one I best remember because it was stuck in my head for like 8 years.
Wow. Really?
It was different than how I remembered it because like for a couple of years, I was, thank God, oblivious to it. Not thinking about it, at least. But yeah, I'm on the road to Viridian City and on a terrible fucking battle where all Pokemon die in one hit. It doesn't fucking matter.
I think it's probably good. It's more like, on the road to Viridian City.
I'm on the road to Viridian City. That's it.
Okay. That's pretty much, they usually like repeat.
I'm on the road to become the greatest master.
They all sound the exact same.
Yeah.
In case we haven't made that point clear enough. Sorry if we've been repeating ourselves, but so have they.
Number 2, this one's different. It's the Team Rocket's Rockin' song.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember that one.
I do.
You actually remember that
I didn't like it. I did not like that song.
But it stands out, and that's the only reason it's that high up.
I don't even remember how it goes. I think it's literally just the motto. It's just like set to a beat. Set to protect the world from devastation.
I don't know, man. These are all terrible.
I know.
Number 1, the least terrible is To Be a Master. And you know what's funny is that I heard this one today, and I already forgot it. I have no idea how the tempo goes, so I guess that's why it's number 1. It's the least harmful to my brain.
Be a master.
Nah, that's not it.
I don't know.
Come nightfall, I'm gonna be trying to sleep, and it's all I could think about.
Pikachu's jukebox. Is that a good addition to an end of the show?
It's a fucking addition to the end of a children's show. Yeah, sure, whatever. It allows the kids to sing.
The kids are like,
yeah, clapping your hands like one of those freaking robot monkey things. Yeah, they do that. You know what would be cool is if they had a song for each Pokemon. They did one for every Pokemon.
Like every single
list.
Pokemon gets its own song.
Well, like at least every evolutionary line.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be 150 songs. It'd be more like, I don't know, 70, 90.
I don't know how many evolutionary lines there are.
I'm curious about that.
So it'd be every single Pokemon. Sandslash likes to get under the sail.
He looks like Raditz.
He looks like Raditz. Cloyster looks like a giant bivalve.
Or a vagina.
I mean, I didn't want to go that far, but okay.
It's a clamp. God forbid an Ekans ever goes in the cloister. Yeah. You do that sound effect really well.
Thank you.
No problem.
Anything else about Pikachu's jukebox?
Pikachu wears a tuxedo when they're introducing Pikachu's jukebox. That must be from like a Las Vegas episode or something where Pikachu's wearing that, because it's obviously reused from the show itself. I just don't know when.
I would assume from the Execute episode, because that's when they're talking about Las Vegas and Pikachu's like the little magician assistant.
Ah, okay. Well then, yeah, no, that's the end of Pikachu's jukebox. I don't want to ever talk about it again.
Sounds good.
Until a song comes on that I'm like, you know what? I like this song. So I'm willing to bet I will not mention Pikachu's jukebox again based on those conditions.
I believe it. Because I'll forget it. I forgot it existed every single time until they played it. And that's including today when we watched all 4 episodes. I forgot that it existed until the end of the episode.
See, that's impressive, because for me, I only forget it exists, or I forget to talk about it because we're talking about the Pokemon episodes and not about that, so I just forget to talk about it.
No,
I always remember them. I remember they exist.
Not me. In fact, until like a little while ago, I literally thought it was the same song every time.
No, it's different.
So, I think it was until the Team Rocket one. I thought it was the exact same song every single time. All right, well, that's all for this episode.
That's all for this episode. Follow your dreams. Believe in yourself, even if you think you're the worst person ever. You're probably not. In fact, you're probably pretty good at what you do. And if you keep crying about it, I will kill you.
Fair enough.
Goodbye.
Bye.